Good morning to anyone present. Today I'm going to speak about the waste generation and composition. See, as we all know, like in our country, as the time passes or a days passes, each and everywhere we can see the amount of waste collected and the segregation or the composition of the waste, it's becoming very tedious. Right? So in this topic, we are going to discuss like how the waste has been generated and what are its composition. So information about the waste quantity and its composition, it is very much important for evaluating the alternate terms. Like if I want to go for the treatment of a waste, what kind of equipment I need to select, what is the system, what are the plans or the decisions or the management programs has to be involved for the waste treatment. For example, if the waste generated at a commercial facility consists of only paper product, then appropriate equipment or a shredders or a bladers is required for treating that particular paper waste. Similarly, on the basis of quantity generated, we can plan appropriate means for separation, collection and recycling programs. The processing of raw materials is the first stage when the waste generated and the waste after generation, it continues thereafter every step in the process as a raw material and converted into a final product for the consumption. Like we have one particular flow diagram which indicates the path of generation of a solid waste. For example, if I take one particular example, a raw material for a particular industry. So when we collect a raw material, obviously, whenever I want to take a pure raw material, it has to be extracted with the residues. So the residues will be taken away and the raw material will be given to the manufacturing unit. And here in the manufacturing unit, it has two ways of coming out in the product. One, the level is a first level of manufacturing, it takes place. And if the product is ready to use, it will be directly given to the consumers. And there are certain applications or products where we need to go for a secondary manufacturing process also. So ultimately, after the secondary manufacturing also, it will be given to the consumers. And here we have a vertical arrow mark which indicates like there is a path between a secondary manufacturing and the processing and recovery unit. Once after the secondary manufacturing, if any of the product it has not achieved its original what is it, characteristics of the product, then the processing and the recovery unit it takes a role here. And once after the secondary manufacturing, the the left out residues will be taken as a final disposal. And from the consumers, so once if we start using the particular product after its usage, either it can be directly given for the disposal as a final disposal or a waste, or the consumer he can send it back to the processing and the recovery unit for recycling or for reducing that particular waste or for going for re-altering of that particular product. So here there are many processes where the consumer he can directly throw that as a waste or it can be given to the processing and the recovery unit. And once if it is given to the process and recovery unit, again it will be sent it back to the manufacturing. When it goes to the manufacturing for the second time for the recycling product, then the residues which all that is left out from that particular product will be taken out and then the procedure follows the same thing. So finally, from the raw material to the final disposal, each and every sectors will be working in its own way to accomplish the waste generation and the composition in an appropriate way. So what do you mean by waste composition? Some of the general observations which has been associated with the composition of the waste are The major constituents are paper and the decomposable organic materials. For example, if I take metal, glass, ceramic, textile, wood, it has its own composition in it, and the relative proportion depends on the local factors too. So, average proportions of the consistency reaching the disposal sites, and it consists of even the urban waste, are fairly constant, subject to the long term changes such as seasonal variations. So CR is one particular table where it shows you the various socio-economic status with a particular community. Since income is varying and there is a changes in the lifestyle, and even the composition and the pattern of the waste also be varied based on the even our cultural behavior plays a very important role on the waste generation. Here is a phenomenon of India where the characteristics is a paper which is having a very low income, which is of 1 to 4%, and which is having a high income, even it is 20 to 50%. And there are many other things, something like plastic, ash and fines, moisture content, bulk density. Bulk density here we say that heavier waste can have more dense more dense and more handling capacity compared to the lighter one. So as the density increases, the waste segregation and the treatment also it takes more. And when we speak about the moisture content, if my moisture content is very high, like 30 to 40%, then I'm going to get very low income out of that particular waste. If my moisture content is very less, then the income of that particular from that particular waste is will be higher. And the second year, here we have the waste composition. It also depends on the moisture content, density, and relative distribution of the municipal waste. This table is going to predict. This table here it is going to predict, and it says that it consists of food waste, paper, cardboard, plastic, textile, rubber, leather, and not many other things where its mass in its percentage. Here they have given even it is range also and what is the typical value of mass, moisture content, and density. See, these are the three major physical characteristics that we have seen in the first module. So whenever we consider the waste, I need to think of volume, I need to think of moisture content, and I need to think of density also. So all these three plays a very important role when we speak about the physical characteristics. So note that always the density of the waste, it will be changed and it moves from source of generation to the point for the ultimate disposal, such as the factors of storage methods, salvage activity, exposure to the weather, handling methods, and decomposition. So in a very short period, predicting the changes of waste composition, which is very difficult and very tedious. Thank you.